All right, bonjour, bienvenue à notre réunion de midi en ligne et en direct sur EBS. Nous sommes aujourd'hui le vendredi 5 novembre. Nous avons seulement une annonce pour vous aujourd'hui pour laquelle je passe la parole à Dan.
Thank you, Eric. Good afternoon, everybody. The European Commission, on behalf of the EU, has today disbursed €90 million in macro financial assistance to Albania. This is the second and last tranche of a €180 million support programme to Albania, following the first €90 million disbursement in March 2021. This disbursement is part of the €3 billion emergency MFA package for 10 enlargement and neighbourhood partners, aiming to help them limit the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. The programme is a concrete demonstration of the EU's solidarity with its partners to help respond to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. More information is available today in today's daily news and in the press release that we have just published.
Thank you very much. And with this, we can move to your questions. Joe, Dan, I think you can stay on the podium. Nice try.
I thought we'd make sure you could stay there, Dan. Could we have your kind of initial thoughts, please, on today's meeting between Lord Frost and Maroš Šefčovič, please, and whether you feel that there could be any progress today, or your kind of analysis on where the gaps remain in the talks over Northern Ireland, please. Thank you.
So, Joe, I think we have a long-standing tradition in the press room not to comment on meetings that are ongoing. The meeting with David Frost began a couple of minutes ago. It's taking place in this building, a few floors above us, so I'm not going to comment now. As usual, you know that we will provide you with a readout afterwards, in which case, stay in touch and we can follow up on that. More generally, all I would say is that we are working extremely hard to find solutions to some of the problems that have been put to us by people in Northern Ireland. You know, we came forward with a far-reaching, ambitious package of measures a couple of weeks ago. We are fully engaged in the process to find solutions that can provide the stability and the predictability that people and businesses in Northern Ireland need and deserve. That's what we're doing, that's what we're concentrating on, that's what everybody should concentrate on, and beyond that, let's stay in touch for the readout after the meeting.
Thank you very much. On this issue, go ahead.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, Dan. Just a quick one. Lord Frost on his way in said that time's running out in these talks to reach an agreement. Just wonder if you agree with that and how long you think that they can go on for. Thanks.
Tim.
Thanks, Nick. We're fully concentrated on finding solutions. I'm not going to now talk about deadlines or anything like that. We've been in this game long enough now to avoid talking about that. Our main aim is to find solutions that provide stability, that can provide predictability and certainty for people in Northern Ireland.
Thank you. Other questions on this issue? Yeah, but don't ask the same question as was asked before you arrived.
Apologies, I missed a bit of it. I believe you said there were significant gaps between two sides, at least, no? Lord Frost said there are significant gaps between both sides before he went in. I just want to know why you think that is, because we were told at a technical briefing 3 weeks ago that the UK was heavily involved in, consulted at least on these changes to the customs checks. So, why the gaps? Thanks.
And confusing our comments with those of Lord Frost is amazing. Dan.
Indeed, I'm not him, and we don't have the same comments. Look, we are, as I said, working extremely hard to find solutions right now. We think that engaging in this process can result in a solution or solutions for people and businesses in Northern Ireland. What we're working on right now is to find common ground between both of our respective positions. Beyond that, the Vice President and Lord Frost are speaking at this exact moment upstairs, so let's see where we are in a couple of hours.
Thank you. Are there other questions on EU-UK relations? Maria.
Oui, bonjour, j'espère que vous m'entendez. J'avais une question technique concernant les chiffres. Donc, si je comprends bien, la Commission européenne est également impliquée dans la demande de licences pour les bateaux. Est-ce que vous pourriez dire combien de demandes ont été effectuées pour des bateaux européens, combien pour la France et aussi combien ont obtenu une licence temporaire et combien ont été rejetés. Donc je voulais avoir juste voilà, les chiffres de la Commission. Je m'excuse si la question a déjà été posée par le passé. Et juste une autre question, toujours sur les chiffres. Du côté britannique, j'entends que les propositions de la Commission, enfin de l'Union européenne pour résoudre les problèmes concernant l'Irlande du Nord ne vont pas forcément améliorer la situation. On parle d'une amélioration de quelques heures en termes de la rapidité des échanges et des contrôles. Mais quelle est la position de la Commission sur ce sujet selon vous, voilà, quelles sont les améliorations que cela pourrait apporter? Merci.
Sur la deuxième question, je pense que ce serait pour toi, Dan. Donc, on va commencer avec ça et ensuite, on va essayer de se connecter avec Tim, qui est en route pour la COP, mais qui devrait pouvoir se joindre à nous depuis Londres, où il est en transit. Dan.
Bonjour Maria, merci pour ta question. D'une manière générale, je ne vais pas faire des commentaires sur des commentaires ou sur des remarques en public sur cette question. Comme j'ai dit, nous sommes en train de discuter d'une manière intensive avec le Royaume-Uni pour arriver à une solution qui peut apporter de la stabilité, la prédictibilité en Irlande du Nord. Sur nos propositions, bien sûr, je peux t'envoyer des informations sur les différents éléments, mais juste pour te donner un exemple, 2-3 exemples, sur notre proposition du mois d'octobre, donc il y a quelques semaines, nous avons proposé des solutions qui vont réduire d'une manière importante les contrôles qui ont lieu à la frontière entre la Grande-Bretagne, dans la transition, du transit des biens entre la Grande-Bretagne et l'Irlande du Nord. Par exemple, si tu es dans un camion entre la Grande-Bretagne et l'Irlande du Nord, pour te donner un exemple concret, et dans ce camion, tu as par exemple une centaine de différents produits, normalement, il faut avoir une centaine de certificats différents. Mais selon notre proposition, il faudra avoir juste un seul document. Donc voilà un exemple concret des solutions que nous avons proposées. Et bien sûr, je peux t'envoyer beaucoup d'autres exemples d'une manière bilatérale.
Merci. Tim, on the question on the licenses, although I'm not sure we're going to go into all the details. Go ahead.
Vous m'entendez bien?
Can we raise the level of the sound?
Je vais essayer de parler un peu plus fort aussi.
Oui, parle plus fort.
Ouais, comme Eric a dit, on ne va pas rentrer dans des détails très précis sur les négociations et les chiffres.
Tim, I think we have a good technical reasons not to go into the numbers. Cut him off.
Nous sommes en train de
Arrêtez-le. Tim, we're cutting you off because the connection is really terrible. Maria, je te recommande de rentrer en contact bilatéralement avec Tim, mais je te confirme que nous sommes maintenant en pleine phase de discussion avec les autorités britanniques sur les licences, et donc nous n'allons pas rentrer dans les détails des chiffres. Naomi, you had another question on EU-UK relations.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. If I could, Naomi Leary for the Irish Times. Obviously, the agreement with the UK sets out potential structures for resolving disputes or breaches. I was wondering, could you tell us about what member states have asked for in terms of contingency planning under that agreement? Thank you.
Dan.
Hi, Naomi. I'm not sure I fully get your question, but in any event, you know that our discussions with member states are confidential. I'm not going to go into specific conversations in that regard. Our main aim, as I said from the beginning, is to find solutions that can bring stability and predictability to people and businesses of Northern Ireland, and that's it.
Thank you. Are there other questions for us on EU-UK relations? Yeah, I'll take a last question and then we need to move on.
Thank you. Dan, one you might be able to help us with is kind of a fishing-related one. But in Clement Bone yesterday was saying that there is some disagreement over the concept of replacement vessels and how and kind of how that works when a fisherman has changed his boat but still has historic ties to British waters. Could you just set out what you think, as the Commission, is the answer to what does replacement mean in the term replacement vessels? Thank you.
No, that would be for Tim. You see, we have a bit of an issue in terms of connection, so contact him bilaterally on this. But again, in general, look, I understand all the interest, and we are simply now not going to be commenting on everything that each side is saying in the context of these discussions. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, I close the chapter on EU-UK relations. And I go to Mose, who had a question on COP26.
Yes, thank you very much, Eric. Let's go back to the ongoing climate change conference in Glasgow. As you know, there was a technical briefing yesterday given by the EU negotiators, but it was not, of course, possible for us online to ask any questions. One issue which was not discussed is the issue of let's say, legislation against ecocide, the international crime. And I know there will be a kind of, let's say, discussion webinar on that next week in Glasgow. I would like to know what is the Commission's position on that? As far as I remember, Vice President Timmermans said, let's say, months ago, something like that, that the climate in EU was not yet ready for it, but it didn't, let's say, exclude it. And now, considering, let's say, all the reports and the warnings after his statement, I wonder if the Commission has somehow changed its position and will try to negotiate on such legislation against ecocide. Thank you.
Thanks. As you know, this would be a question for Tim. I'm sorry, we really tried to ensure that he would be able to take part in this midday briefing, but clearly the technical conditions are not right on this. I'm sure he has heard your question nonetheless, Moses, so he will come back to you on that. Okay, we move on to other issues. Maria. And on the COP, please address your questions to Tim. He will be dealing with this whilst on mission in Glasgow. Go ahead, Maria. Hold on, you need to wait for the... Yeah.
Okay, now. Hello, I need to come back to the question I asked you yesterday about the COVID pass and its deadline. In Greece, the government is considering renewing the COVID pass only after the third dose. Sources say that the COVID pass for somebody that has been fully vaccinated with two doses will not be renewed. So I would like to ask you if there is any discussion about this in the EU, if the EU is considering putting the third dose as a precondition for a renewal of the COVID pass. And if I'm not wrong, EMA has recommended a third dose only for vulnerable population at this stage. Although the competence of health remains in the hands of the member states, do you think that the pass can be valid for two doses in one member state and for 3 doses in one other member state? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on the issue, I will call Christian up on the pass. Again, let me remind you that we are talking here only about the use of the pass for intra-EU travel, right? Because how the pass is used within a member state is not part of the definition of the regulation on the EU digital COVID certificate. And I think this is extremely important. Nevertheless, including for that dimension, because you're right that would be a question, I pass the floor to Christian.
Yes, indeed. So thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mila, for the question. So let me maybe clarify and remind how it works on the free movement dimension on the COVID certificate. So there is a maximum validity period for recovery certificates of 180 days. There is no maximum validity period foreseen for vaccination certificates. Having said that, and also the regulation and also the free movement recommendation that we've been talking about does not provide for a maximum duration of acceptance of vaccination certificates. Having said that, I mean, member states may establish rules as to how long the certificates are accepted. This is already common practice in the context of tests, where you know that we have recommended validity periods of 48 hours and 72 hours respectively for rapid antigen and PCR tests. So there are, as I think mentioned yesterday, already currently discussions about a possible update of the free movement recommendation, and these questions about validity periods, about how to deal with booster shots are part of the deliberations in this context, but it is too early to come to any conclusions here. I mean, our goal has always been the same and will remain the same, to ensure a coordinated approach on free movement in the European Union, and as much as possible, really good coordination and clear rules. So for citizens, and this is the line on which we will continue to work.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions on the issue of the certificates? Mose.
Let's say supportive of a booster, a third shot that is of the vaccine, again, at least among elderly people above the age of 65. And I know that some countries have already decided on that, and also there is, let's say, scientific evidence that let's say, the efficiency of the vaccine deteriorates or went away after some months, let's say 6 months. And that seems also to be the condition for the third shot in other countries. So I wonder if EU, its expert agencies, that is ECDC and EMA, they are considering all this and will, let's say, issue some kind of recommendation about this third vaccination. Thank you.
But on third vaccination, Mose, we have just said EMA has issued its current recommendations. Yes, there are debates in member states, of course, but EMA has come out with its opinion on this, and I would ask you to contact EMA if you want further details on what their recommendations currently is and whether they are thinking about further developments in this area. Thank you. Are there other questions for us today on this issue or on the health situation more generally? Maria, you have a question on this. Maria Laudani, is your question on this?
Yes.
Sorry, Giuseppe, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Hello, it's me. I wonder if you could tell me what you think about new lockdown, who could be limited or circumscribed to non-vaccinated people. What do you think of this?
No, these are, Giuseppe, these are clearly national measures. You know that the competences and the prerogatives when it comes to health policy are very clear, and member states are in charge of this. We have always said that it's important for member states, when measures that they take have an impact across the EU, for example, in particular, border regions, everything affecting the travel of essential workers, etc., to inform their colleagues from other member states and coordinate. But we are certainly not going to be commenting on individual recommendations or measures that member states could be taking. Lily.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, is it on health?
Yes. President von der Leyen met with her COVID advisory panel today, I believe. I was wondering if you know, if you had a readout.
No, it's not yet, Lily. It will be this evening. As you know, there are minutes which are provided of these meetings, but sometime after the meeting has taken place. Look, these are meetings with a group of experts simply so that the president has an opportunity of basically picking experts' brains on the overall situation and topical issues related to the crisis. This is not in any way a sort of formal panel that drives Commission policy. It's a way for the president to be discussing the issues and understand what representatives of the scientific community are working on, are dealing with, are concerned about, etc., etc. And obviously, the current epidemiological situation in Europe and the challenges that are posed by the forthcoming winter season will be at the center of the discussions. Okay, are there other questions for us today on the health situation? Mose, you have your hand raised. I will allow you one last question on this.
Sorry, a mistake. Okay, I'm sorry this time. No, I'm good for now.
Thank you. Are there other questions for us today? Beatriz.
Eric, thank you so much. I was wondering, maybe this is for Dan, there has been these non-papers circulating, apparently a working paper of the European Commission regarding taxonomy and the inclusion of both nuclear and gas. I was wondering if you could confirm whether that's actually the case. And also, we saw that the Commissioner was saying that this decision might be delayed. So if we could have a comment on that as well. Thank you.
Well, we certainly never comment on non-papers that would be or would not be circulating. As you know, the Commission is working on its proposals when it comes to taxonomy. I believe that the Commissioner McGuinness has been very clear in saying that her objective is to come forward with proposals before the end of the year. I do not believe that this has changed, and therefore at this point in time there is nothing new for us to say on this. Any other questions for us today? Giuseppe.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, okay. This is another issue. I wanted to know if you have any comment on this. The Italian government yesterday has given green light to the competition law, but bathing concession, the bath concession which are next to the sea on the beach are excluded. So there is no revision of these bathing concession, but only a mapping of the existing one. So I wanted to know if you have any comment on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, Sonia.
Good afternoon, and many thanks for your question. Giuseppe, indeed, we are aware of the recent developments with the Italian legislation. It is the prerogative of the Italian authorities how they're going to address the reform process in the beach concessions. For the Commission, what is important is the content, not the form of this reform. And for us, it's important that the Italian authorities proceed swiftly to bring in conformity their legislation and their practices regarding the award of beach concessions with the EU legislation and also with the jurisprudence of the Court of Justice.
Thank you very much for this. And I would concede that I would dearly love to be on the beach. My Friday comment on this issue. Any other questions for us today? No, so that's good. We can end with this joke. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend.